In this video, we're going to take a look at some accounting extras. These might be charges above and beyond the default charges set up against a client. If we go to the left-hand side to 3PL Accounting Overview and scroll down, you'll find some extra items at the bottom. The first one we'll take a look at is to manage invoice item types. This is where you can handle manual charges that you can apply anytime you need to. You can add them at the top and find them down below. For example, I might want to add a manual cost to my library for goods in, and I might call it large delivery surplus charge, for example. I might charge an extra £50 when necessary, and if I click create and then scroll down in my invoice item types, I can see that charge there. If I need to apply it against a client, I can simply go to 3PL Accounting on the left and add an additional invoice item. I can select the client this applies to. I can choose the charge from the list. I could then make an adjustment to the rate if I needed to. For example, this client may have sent 2 large deliveries on one day, so we need to charge for 2 lots of this. And because of that, we gave them a discount and dropped it to £40. We could then change the date. This charge might apply to earlier on in the week. And we can add comments if necessary, which will show up on the invoice. If I click add, I've now charged my client £80, and that's on their account ready to be invoiced. We can also automate these charges monthly. If we go to 3PL Accounting Overview and scroll down, we have recurring invoice items. For an example, I have here a replenishment cost that I set up manually that charges £2 per day every single day. I could click create and I could add a new one. I could choose my client, my charge, the amount, and I could set that up to happen weekly if I needed to. By clicking create, that saves, and that will be triggered every week. If we go back to 3PL Accounting Overview and scroll down, one thing which is very useful to be aware of is orders awaiting courier prices. In the next video, we'll take a look at how you can set up courier charges. However, it's important to know that when orders go from a dispatch status to an invoice status, the orders will go to an invoice failed status if the courier service does not have a price against it. In this case, orders will go here to orders awaiting courier prices. In the table at the bottom, you'll see a list of orders which haven't had the courier service price, and there will be a text box where you can type in the cost to charge the client for the service. You can then highlight the order. In the bulk actions, select invoice and go. If we go back to 3PL Accounting Overview and scroll down, there are extra options which we've not covered yet. Add rework cost to order. Rework charges cannot be applied to orders at the point of doing the packing and the dispatching. If you need to add one after the fact, you can use this page to do so. Add additional invoice item is exactly the same as by going to 3PL Accounting, add additional invoice item there. We just did an example of that where we added a charge against the client. Calculate current storage. This will give you an example of what charges might be applied to a client based on the current volumes. This will include different options such as the volumetric space being used. You can choose the client, you can choose the warehouse, and then you can choose the storage calculation type. By clicking on calculate, you'll get an example of what's in use currently and what it might cost the client.